Okay. And I want to kind of go through, talk about the things that I had posted on the page, and then I'm going to let you guys ask some questions, because there are a lot of questions, and there are a lot of gray areas. But you have to remember, this is not, this is not like there's no official rule book. The bottom line is, the point of this is to get you um, back, engaged in habits, engaged in checking in, engaged in movement, and back on doing things that are going to make you feel good. And we all know what it's like when you fall off the track. That motivation, that feeling of feeling good, everybody loves it, but when you lose it, trying to find it again is impossible. I mean, I've spent many days just sitting, staring at that bathroom scale going, how did I have the motivation before and how have I lost it? And sometimes it just takes something almost gimmicky like this. And this is sort of gimmicky because, you have the little chart that you have to fill out, and it's, it's, it's a process, and it's little goals along the way that are getting you to get back on track. And it's very systematic. And if you haven't listened to my last podcast on SMART goals, there it is. It's the traditional dog bark of the Zoom session. If you haven't listened to my last podcast on SMART goals, it lines up perfectly with with this program. It is creating goals that are sustainable, that are measurable, that are attainable, that are small, that you can make in small clusters, and that are in timely manners. And that's exactly what this is. And so with that being said, I'm going to silence everyone, including my dog. Out of curiosity, because I have these on, were you able to hear him barking as loud as normal?
Didn't sound like it,
Oh,
no.
oh, good. Okay, so I'm muting you all. Okay. All right. So first of all, the emergency passes. I think that there's a little bit of confusion between the emergency passes and the fact that there's the slip there's the slip where you are allowed to uh, exercise them off, and then there's the emergency passes. The emergency passes are when you have completely uh, I hate to use the word, but blown it. You've gone way over your calories. You've gone way over your sodium. You're not going to, drink 80 ounces of water at 6 p.m. You have to use a pass. That's when you use a pass. And the point of the pass is, again, keep in mind, this is almost like a game board or a game. It's like the Monopoly of Get You Fit. Is it's like a lifeline. So that is you declaring that you are not going to make it the rest of the day, and you're going to start over tomorrow. And so if you're going to use an emergency pass, that's you just kind of reaching out, letting me know that you are turning this in because you didn't do A, B, or C. Find an accountability partner. That's going to help. A lot of people have done that. You don't have to use an emergency pass if you didn't drink your water. If you didn't drink your water, you can do an extra exercise. And so an exercise could just be a 10-minute walk. And to clarify, someone said, well, if I go for a 40-minute walk, is that considered 4 separate walks? Ava, can you manage the dog, please? Um, it, a 40-minute walk is one walk. The point of me saying a 10-minute walk is you are going out for a 10-minute walk. More than likely, you go out for a 10-minute walk because you want to make up for not drinking your water. How cool is this, by the way? Um, you might stay out longer than the 10 minutes. So now you're going to go out for another 10-minute walk. You're moving. You are feeling the repercussions of how good it feels to get up and walk. You're making the mind body connection of, wow, I have more energy because I went for a walk. You went over your sodium, so you decide to do an extra DMB. So the whole day you're like, I went over the sodium, I'm gonna do this extra DMB. So you do the DMB, boom, boom, boom. What happens 3 minutes later after you do the DMB? You're like, wow, I feel so good. Mind body connection. You get what I'm saying? So this is not meant to torture you. It's meant to teach you that there's value in this. Okay. So that's the difference between using an emergency pass and and doing the slips. Okay. Um, Questions on that? Somebody had posted, and I don't think she's, I can't see who's all here. That on the page she posted that she did 28 DMBs to make up for um, her not eating right or something. She was kidding. Um, so that's, and I wrote that in there, that you can't just eat, can't go over your calories by 2000 and just work out all day. That defeats the entire purpose of this. Okay, so the next thing, the logging. Um, I cannot tell you uh, how important this is. I feel like the logging crazy person that I'm being so demanding on the logging. Um, if this was not the 21 day uh, reboot or challenge, and you were just the member that's been with me for 9 months or a year or 2 years, and you text me and said, my weight's not moving, and I went on your food log and I looked and it was blank. um, that would be bothersome enough, because you have to remember, I'm taking the time to go on your log and funnel through it, and then I see that it's blank. If you're not logging, you are not able to actually concretely see what you are taking in. From the beginning, I've always said, unless you are weighing and measuring something and writing it down, um, I cannot evaluate your intake. I can't give you answers. I can't make suggestions. I'm not implying that you're not eating right. If you're eating right, I need to see it so that I can make suggestions. But more than likely, if you're not logging, your measurements are probably not up to par. You are more than likely not being precise with it. And again, if this wasn't during this 21-day thing, that would be fine. But during this 21-day thing, um, it needs to be recorded. And if the scale isn't moving and you are asking for my help, and I go on and I see a bunch of blanks, I have no answer, but I can't help you. I mean, I will bend over backwards, and I have literally not skipped a beat, and I am not kidding you when I tell you I've worked 15 hours every day, and that is not a lie, because I am wanting to make sure everybody succeeds at this. I've gone on everybody's fitness pal that has asked. I've nitpicked through everybody's. But if you're not going to log, then you're not going to see the results. That's just the bottom line. And the more serious you are about this next 21 days, the more you're going to see the result. I by no means am saying that you should be this strict the rest of the year. I don't think that that's realistic. I don't think that that's sustainable. But those of you that wanted to do this for 21 days, to get your system going and to get your habits going, um, now's the time to be serious. So here we are, what, 7 or 8 days in, and already to not be logging is to me not taking it serious. So the logging has to happen. And I know we're all busy, we are, but you committed yourself to this. And I know you didn't pay extra for it. And that's one thing I've always said. And I've tried to give people, throughout time that are struggling financially, here, join my program for free. When there's not skin in the game, oftentimes there's not, I don't see results. And I know you guys aren't going to feel that because you guys have skin in the game. You've put a financial end to your commitment with Get You Fit, but you you didn't actually pay extra for this 21-day program. And so I hope that that doesn't uh, create a unwillingness to push harder for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it will work. And those of you that are seeing results are seeing results. So log, log, log. And also, I'm telling you to log because the habit of logging is something that I want you to continue. Because any one of you that's watching right now will agree, your success rate is higher, and those of you that have kept your weight off are still logging, and that's the bottom line. So the next one, meal flexibility and options. So originally during the 21 day, I had said, these are your meals. I want you to stick to these meals. The more you sway away from them, the higher the likelihood of your results being lower will be. And so right away I'm getting like text messages like, I really need my apple and you know, cheese and almonds. And I understand that because those are your favorites. Um, but an apple is going to possibly put you over in the sugars. So if you can manage it and if you could fit the apple in with your sugar count, then have it. You guys are not newbies, you guys are beyond that level. But if you're going to have the apple and it's going to put you over in sugars, then the point of what I created for you guys isn't going to work. Um, Someone texted me yesterday, I haven't had any soda in 7 days. Could I please have my apple? And I thought it was adorable, but I said no. But why don't you have your apple cheese almond snack, but have an egg instead? Perfect, because we're trying to eliminate sugar. And so that's what she did. So do you see the difference there? Do you see how that's how we kind of manipulated it? But with that being said, that doesn't mean that you should replace your protein coffee with um, Starbucks every day. If you want to fit a Starbucks in, if you can have it fit with your sugars, and your levels and your calories during this 21-day time, then of course have it. But again, um, this is your golden time right now to make a difference with your metabolism and your habits. So we're already halfway through. It's already half over. We're midpoint. Okay, so that flexibility, it's ultimately up to you. Um, I had someone else the other day. Her scale again was not moving, and I asked her, "Are you doing everything right?" She said yes. So I go on and I looked and I saw corn chips, and then I saw a bunch of rice cakes and peanut butter. And I said, "Are you doing the 21 day?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "So where do the corn chips fall in?" And she said, "Oh, well, I just get the crunchy sometimes, and it fit into my plan." And I said, "But but there corn chips is a chip, and it's not, that is nowhere. I mean, that is not, there's no protein in it. There's no, I mean, that was just a complete thrown in there. So that is different than taking an old Get You Fit snack like the apple string cheese, almonds, and revising it so that it could be a healthy option. Having potato chips, low sodium potato chips that has nothing, uh, no uh, healthy bearing to them at all, is not changing your habits or doing anything positive for your wellness. So I guess when you're wanting to make a substitution, ask yourself, is this something that I want to make a permanent, regular routine in my life? Um, is this something that I want to make regular? Is this something I want to make regular? And if it's yes, then I would probably approve it. But if it's no, then you know that it's not a good swap. Okay. So that leads me to, what is the general purpose of this 21-day program? And I just said it. So if you're desperate to put LaCroix in here and you say, Irene, please, I've just had enough. I need my LaCroix. Um, is LaCroix something that you want to make part of your everyday water? I mean, is that ultimately a healthy thing? The bottom line is it's not. So probably the answer is no. Is ultimately, do you know that ultimately, having corn chips instead of a rice cake, even though calorie to calorie, they're the same, ultimately, is that a better choice? No. So the general purpose of this is to change your habits, uh, get you looking at labels, which you all have. I mean, I startled your world. And it couldn't have happened on a worse day, because it was the day I was actually in the hospital. And the nurses thought I was a complete nut job, because I'm like in my gown with my laptop in the bed, like answering all your questions because the sodium. And wow, like, shame on me actually for not teaching you this sooner. But that's life changing, and that will forever, hopefully, haunt you now, that you will always look at sodium. And I always do, because I know that I'm so sensitive to that. But the bottom line is, don't do it for your waistline. Do it for your lifeline. 1 in 4 people, deaths last year, 1 in 4 were due to fatal heart attacks. 655,000 people died last year of a heart attack. That's like crazy to me. And it starts with not understanding what we're putting into our bodies. And yet the sodium levels, as you know now, are insane. I mean, the first day I got probably 20 texts. There's salt in egg whites, you know? Yeah, there's salt in egg whites, and now that and I mean, people were arguing with me, but this is one of your recipes. How am I supposed to make this? Well, start looking for tomato cans of tomatoes that have lower sodium levels. They're all out there. You just got to spend a little more time looking for them. And then once you know, like, oh, Del Monte's sky high, this one's lower, then you know it. You're at the store, you're gonna grab. And boy, rinsing those cans of corn and beans now, that's a must now. I mean, like, we're rinsing them, like making sure they're completely rinsed, because you're rinsing off 50% of that salt. So eye-opening. So that is the purpose of this. And not only that, but creating those habits again. And I've never seen such renewed enthusiasm from people that were really kind of off their game with logging and with everything. It was just like, all of a sudden it was just, wow, everybody's back and regenerated. So that I loved so much. It made me so happy. So what happens next? Well, it is really no different than what you've always done. What you are experiencing right now is, you all became newbies again. You all became newbies. You all started uh, texting, you all started checking in, you all started reading. I laughed because I get the reports of who reads the emails, and 100% of these 21-day emails were read, like 100% of them. And you are engaged, you are watching, you are really listening. And so what happens now is we need to transition this energy into uh, the next program. And it will transition nicely, because as soon as this 21 days is over, um, we're going to start with the next meal plan. And you guys are going to go back to your old calorie uh, allowances. And if you don't remember what those are, because it's been 1,000 years and you are completely disattached from them, then email me or text me. Don't email me, please. Email me what your calorie limit was or is, or you think it was, or you don't know, and I will reassign it to you. It's not 1,200. Nobody is allowed to be that low, not under my watch. No, no one is allowed that low. I don't know why that number has become the magic number. It is actually the number that leads to failure. You will gain your weight back if you try to lose it at that number. So you will, if you're on that number now, you can be for 3 weeks, but that's it. So tell me what your number is when you exit this program, and you're going to eat at that number. You have a 200 calorie buffer. So if you are at 1,400, then you can eat up to 1,600. You can go as low as 200, 1,200. But that's your buffer. And you continue with watching your sodium. There's not going to be a chart anymore, but you should stay around 2,500. If you have a heart condition, again, there's no slip sheets, but it's your health, it's your heart, it's your lifeline. Sure, you can have a day at 2,000, but generally you want to keep it at what is recommended for you. Um, if you have gone 3 weeks with no sugar at 35 grams of sugar, you are going to feel how amazing it is to not want sugar. I used to be a sugar addict. I used to need it. I used to have candy wrappers all over. And I used to need to take a nap every day at 1 o'clock because I used to crash. And now I could have candy in front of me and I won't even want it. It's the best feeling to be freed of that. And I would never want to be addicted to that again. So if you get off the sugar, stay off it. It's it has nothing to do with even calories. It's more the addiction of feeling like you need to eat sweets all the time. So ball's in your court there. You're going to go back to the eating, and just know that you have these habits now, and you are to just continue with them. You know what to do. Am I going to tell you to drink a gallon of water every day? No. um what's a good amount? I've been telling you all along, 80 to 100. So if you're used to drinking the 120, I agree, is a lot. Drop it to 80, keep it at around 80 to 100. It's only better for you for your weight loss. You're seeing the results, so you know what you have to do. Um, and then on final note, before I let you guys ask questions, uh, many of you took a survey. I put a survey out on asking you guys questions about meal plans. And since I do see how many people open the meal plans when I send them, it's astonishingly low for the loyal people. And I understand, you guys, you have so many. And I always say this: if I was on my own program, I wouldn't be opening them either, because there's just so many. But on my end, I write these recipes, and just like the cheeseburger pie that you guys all were like, "Oh my God, the cheeseburger pie is so good." you guys are missing these recipes every month. There's so many good ones. So what I'm going to do for the loyal members, instead of sending you out a monthly plan each month like I do, I'm going to send you each program. So each 3 months, each 3-month cluster. Hang on, before I make this public, here goes. I'm going to make you an actual download, like I do my recipe downloads, with all the recipes in them, the breakfasts, the lunches, and the dinners, all in one, so that you get them at the beginning. You're not getting month 1, month 2, month 3. So you're going to get them all at once in 2 weeks. Does that make sense? And you're going to have them all. So there's no need for you guys now to wait each month for the next batch. You're going to get all of them at once. And this way you ideally then can just funnel through them and use them as you want. Because you're not a newbie anymore. You don't need to wait for the progression. And I'm actually working with somebody right now to help me create possibly a program or an app that can put all of these together in a way so that it can be organized better, because the magnitude of the number of recipes that I have are to the point where the organization is difficult. So you guys are going to get them all put together after I, of course, put it together myself, but it's going to be fabulous, of course. And it'll look just like the sampler. So yeah, that will be up and coming. Okay. So questions. I could not have covered everything. Did I cover everything?
I have a question.
Sure.
I made the skinny Mongolian beef tonight, and I used liquid aminos, and I did half. I half what was called for. I think it was a half a cup. So I think I did a fourth or a little more. But then, I was looking at the label, and it said 350 milligrams of sodium for 1 teaspoon. So even a quarter that I put in there, I was like, it's so much. I'm like, but I can't omit it because that's the big flavor in it. So
well, did the recipe call for aminos, or did it call for soy sauce?
Well, I think it was low sodium soy sauce, but I thought liquid aminos were less than low sodium soy sauce.
It is, and you could probably put even less than that. Liquid aminos are so potent.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Did you add it already?
Yeah, I ate it already. I made it. We ate it. Yeah, I only did like a quarter cup, like a little over a quarter cup, not half a cup.
Okay, you know what's better than? Can you guys hear me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The Bragg's is really like, it tastes like sodium to me. I like the coconut aminos. The coconut aminos, it's a different brand. It's got like a beach on the front. Hold on, I'll tell you what it is.
It's Coconut Secret. And
yeah,
it's really,
Coconut
it's
Secret.
really low. It's low sodium. Like I made it with the Coconut Secret, and it was okay.
So did I, and it was delicious. And it didn't taste overly salty.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mine was like super salty when I ate it. I was like, oh my God, this is so salty. And my husband's like, it tastes great. I'm like, what?
It's a good thing you put less in there, because it would have been way over.
I know. Yeah. Well, now I know. Yep. So I'll try the coconut aminos.
And also keep in mind, even if they're my recipes, because I can't tweak them. I'd have to make them all and tweak them with the ingredients. You could always leave out the salt. If I don't put salt in at all, it's going to taste bland. So you could start experimenting with your own personal levels of salt. So for your family, if a recipe has soy sauce in it or an amino in it, you could minimize it and don't put the full amount in there. It's not going to ruin the recipe. It's not like it's a thickening agent like flour or, egg that's going to make it come undone. So I would just back off on it, put less in it, and then you could always add more to your own plate until you get the right balance. Tina, when I was at your house that one time when we had sushi, what kind of aminos did you give me? Was that coconut?
Oh, she's on mute.
Oh, sorry. Tina. Oh, there she is. Tina, did you unmute yourself? Yeah. Remember, did you give me coconut aminos at your house that one time when we had sushi? Yeah, those, I agree. It was so light. I was like, because I thought they were going to be stronger. So I was like just dabbing. And then I ended up like, I was shocked.
This is the one, the coconut, it's called Coconut Secret. And it says 73% less sodium than soy sauce.
Yeah. And yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Now I love coconut, but does that taste like coconut? Like
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Good.
Mm-mm. Yep. Yep. Is that Frank the Tank? Any other questions? Yeah. Wow.
I have a question. I have a question. Are we supposed to turn our slip sheets into you, or are those just for us to track ourselves?
That's for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, if you feel like you need the extra accountability, like you don't trust yourself, then yeah, you can give them to me. But yeah. And then also I wanted to mention, I know I wrote this in there, but because this is one time, and maybe again next year, in January, because January is a critical time. But this could be repeated again in every 8 weeks. So if you feel yourself falling off track, and it's not like it's going to be systematically 8 weeks, but when you feel yourself kind of like, oh gosh, I'm in that rut, I'm eating too much sugar, I'm not watching my salt. I mean, I'll be honest, I told someone today, I need this program right now because this is not a good time for me because I'm just so busy, but I keep saying I need to do this. And so when you fall into that, like, you could just pull this out, print up a sheet, and start it up again. And next January, I'll do it again with maybe some different components and different recipes. But the main idea is following that 17 day or 21 days, the water, the logging, the sodium, the sugars. I mean, those are really huge factors that we don't watch, and our society and the whole nutritional world, nobody puts emphasis on that. Nobody. I mean, there's very few diets out there, even the major ones, that ever put emphasis on watching sugars. Christy, are you here? Yes. Christy's son.
Yeah, I'm here.
Christy's son texted me over the weekend. He wanted me to look at his Fitness Pal. Christy, heads up, you're going to get a lot of questions tonight. And he wanted me to look at his Fitness Pal. So I looked at it today, and he's what is he, 2021, and
20, yeah.
And he's got like 3,500 calories, and gobs and gobs and gobs of protein, and well, his sodiums every day were like 4,000, 4,500.
And it's funny because he totally watches it. He's like, I can't eat that. That's too much sodium. But it's just in stuff that he eats.
Yeah. Well, and I was looking to see, where is he getting all the sodium from? Well, a lot of it's cheese. And his sugars every day were over 100. And I explained to him, and this is the biggest message that I want you guys to all remember. I'm going to put this in my next presentation about macros when I do it. When people say, my nutritionist have you tracked macros? And I don't. My philosophy on macros is healthy fat, protein, complex carb. I've taught you what a complex carb is, what a healthy fat is, what a protein is. I don't make you calculate. I've taken the emphasis off of that. Well, these young kids and a lot of these diets are all macro, macro, macro. And all my new people starting are like, when are we doing macros? Well, here's the problem with macros. When somebody eats something that's a carb, but it's loaded in sugar, you put that in Fitness Pal, it shows as a carb. And when somebody eats something that's fat, and it's cheese with butter, it shows up as fat. Well, that is not helping anybody lose weight. Or in Christy's son's case, it doesn't matter because he's young, but he wanted to know what he could do to bulk up. And I told him that he should pay attention more to, instead of the macro pie, pay attention to his fat should be more monosaturated fats, healthy fats. His carbs should be less sugar and more complex carbs. And then I, of course, said, ask your mom. She knows all about this. She'll help you. But that is a big misconception that people make, and we all did it. We all look at the macro pie and say, oh my gosh, my carbs are too high, my fat's too, but we don't look at the fact that it might be the sugars that are tipping us off. So with this, you are paying attention to all of that. And somebody texted me and said, I love this program. You should have all your new people start with this. I said, are you out of your mind? I would lose my mind. This is way too crazy. This is way too advanced. This is for people that know what they're doing. And so that's a huge compliment to you guys, because look at how much you've learned, that you transitioned right into this and got it right away. So
yeah.
Yep.
And I think even if none of us do, which is not likely, but even if none of us did this program again, and even though we've been with you for so long, we're going to be so much more aware of sodium and sugar and water, and I think that's the key points of it. And, not that we haven't been aware before, but I mean, that's definitely huge eye opener. So.
Yeah, I was telling Kelly about it. Kelly Key, she's one of the new ambassadors. She's like, are you doing the 21 day thing? I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, it's so different. I'm like, she's like, it seems like it, just from everybody's comments and everything. And I'm like, yeah, it's really way different than Irene's regular stuff.
Yeah. Well, and also too, I if anything, I had mixed feelings, because I'm very proud, and I wear this all over my sleeves and face, and I broadcast it. My diet is a diet that you don't know you're on. I mean, it is the most sustainable, flexible diet, and I would never put these restrictions on. I mean, this is the most, this is not something that is sustainable, but it is definitely something that is worth doing every once in a while as a challenge, as a kind of I need this, kind of all right now, you had your fun over the holidays. Let's I think it's good to do every once in a while,
Yeah.
So I have another quick question. So sometimes at the end of the night, I'm really close to my calories, but I'm not quite there yet. So what exactly should I do in that case?
But are you hungry?
Not really, but so say my calories I set at 1,300 for this, and so sometimes I'll get to it's still within the 1,200, 1,400, but it's not 1,300. So is it okay if I don't eat the rest of that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you don't have
if I'm not hungry, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know if I had,
especially for this. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
So.
Is this designed kind of, as the name would imply, to boost our metabolism? Is this
Mhm.
intended to get our
Yep.
metabolism back where it needs to be?
Yep. So doing this for the shortened amount of time like this, and because it is a little bit more restrictive, the way your metabolism works, well, I'm actually putting together my podcast for tomorrow, so I'll give you the shortened answer to that because the podcast will be the actually long answer. But there's certain things that you can do to improve your metabolic rate, and it's a process. I mean, Leslie, you have improved your metabolic rate, and improving your metabolic rate can't be done in just 3 weeks. But because you have already, all of you have already improved your metabolic rate, your systems have experienced that. This is kind of like jostling it. So I guess if I could just conclude by saying this: you have ignited the fire. Your fire was just
Smoldering.
not smoking. Yes. And when you came to Get You Fit, we ignited it, and it was in full fire. And some of you, it was still in full fire. Some of you, it was completely smothering. This 3-week got it to ignite. And so now it's up to you after the 3 weeks to get it up to full fire again. You can either get it up to full fire by continuing on after the 3 weeks and getting it up to full fire, or if you end after the 3 weeks and go back to your old habits, it's going to disintegrate. I mean, it's really, the ball is in your court. And I have had this happen so many times that I could literally see it when it's in my hand, where I could feel my metabolism. I could either feel it like slipping away from me, or I could feel it igniting. And you guys will get to that point where you'll know, like, all right, push through this, just get through this next few, times of feeling this hunger, another week. And, hunger is fat leaving the body, and it's okay to feel hungry for 2 or 3 weeks. You're not going to mess up your metabolism for doing it for 2 to 3 weeks. You will mess up your metabolism for doing it for 2 to 3 months. There's a huge difference. You could go low carb for 2 weeks. That's not going to mess you up. You go low carb for a year. Those of you that have done it lost weight, but every single person that's gone on keto, Atkins, all those wacky diets, they're the ones that are the hardest cases to crack for me because of metabolic damage. So you don't want to mess up your metabolism. So doing something like this is just going to ignite it. And so now we're just going to keep igniting it. Yep. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. All right, you guys. So so look for and then so another thing I'm going to do also is there are a lot of recipes that were on the old, some of the plans that you guys have gotten that I feel like you haven't used. So I'm going to put some new ones on, but I am going to pull some of the ones that have been on some of the plans that you guys have gotten that I think are like some of the really, really good ones. So all of you are going to all get the same, wait, am I going to say that right? I'm not going to talk anymore. Let me figure out what I'm going to do, but you are all going to get a booklet with the plan. Okay. And I hope you like that idea. So, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, you guys. All right. Well, have a good rest of the night.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thanks.
All right,
Bye.
talk to you soon. Okay,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Irene.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Irene.
Bye.
Go drink your water.
I have to fill up one more time.
Bye.
One more.
Love your show.
Nice bottle.